Commander Elena Reyes stood on the bridge of the UAS horizon, her eyes fixed on the swirling blue-green planet that filled the view screen. After 5 years of deep space travel, humanity had finally made contact with an advanced alien civilization. The Novanians, as they called themselves, had extended an invitation for a diplomatic mission, and Elena's crew had been chosen to represent Earth. Final approach, Commander. Lieutenant Jared Chen reported from the helm. Novanian traffic control is guiding us to the designated landing zone. Elena nodded, her heart racing with a mixture of excitement and apprehension. Take us in, Lieutenant. Nice and easy. As the horizon descended through the planet's atmosphere, Elena marveled at the alien landscape below. Sprawling cities of crystalline structures glittered in the light of twin suns, while vast purple forests stretched to the horizon. It was breathtaking, like something out of a dream. The ship touched down with barely a tremor, a testament to Jared's piloting skills. Elena took a deep breath, straightening her uniform. All right, people, this is what we've trained for. Let's make Earth proud. As the airlock cycled open, Elena led her team down the ramp. The air was thick with unfamiliar scents, floral and slightly metallic. A delegation of Novanians waited at the base of the ramp, their tall, willowy forms draped in shimmering robes. The lead Novanian stepped forward, its iridescent skin shifting colors in the sunlight. "Welcome to Novani humans," it said, its voice melodious and androgynous. "I am High Counselor Zara. We have long awaited this moment." Elena bowed slightly, careful to follow the protocol they'd been briefed on. "Thank you for your hospitality, High Counselor. I am Commander Elena Reyes of the United Earth Ship Horizon. We come in peace and friendship." Zara's large, multifaceted eyes studied Elena with an intensity that made her skin prickle. "Peace and friendship," it repeated, as if tasting the words. "We shall see." The next few hours were a whirlwind of introductions and tours. The Novanian capital was a marvel of biotechnology, with buildings that seemed to grow organically from the ground. Elena and her team struggled to maintain their composure in the face of such wonders, acutely aware that they were representing all of humanity. It wasn't until the formal reception that evening that Elena began to sense something was amiss. As she mingled with the Novanian dignitaries, she couldn't shake the feeling that she was being patronized. "Tell me, Commander," one Novanian asked, its tone dripping with condescension, "how do your people manage with such primitive technology? It must be terribly limiting." Helena forced a smile. "We may not be as advanced as the Novanians in some areas, but humanity has made great strides in the past century. We're quick learners." The Novanian made a sound that might have been a laugh. "Oh, I'm sure you are. It's quite charming, really, watching you stumble about the galaxy like infants taking their first steps." Before Elena could formulate a diplomatic response, she felt a hand on her arm. It was Dr. Aisha Kapoor, the mission's lead scientist. "Commander," Aisha whispered urgently, "we need to talk. In private." Elena excused herself and followed Aisha to a quiet corner of the reception hall. "What is it, Doctor?" Aisha's dark eyes were wide with a mixture of excitement and concern. "I've been analyzing the data we've collected since landing. Elena, the Novanians, they're not what we thought they were." "Explain." "Their biology, their technology, it's all interconnected in ways we never imagined. And there's something else." Aisha hesitated, glancing around to ensure they weren't overheard. "I don't think they invited us here out of simple curiosity or goodwill. They're studying us, Elena, like we're some kind of science experiment." Elena felt a chill run down her spine. "Are you sure?" Aisha nodded grimly. "I intercepted some communications. They're fascinated by our genetic diversity, our adaptability. I think they see us as potential test subjects." Elena's mind raced. If Aisha was right, their mission of peaceful first contact had just become far more complicated. "We need to be careful," she said softly. "Keep gathering data, but be discreet. I'll try to get more information from the High Counselor." As if summoned by her words, High Counselor Zara appeared at Elena's elbow. "Commander Reyes, I hope you're enjoying the reception. Might I have a word in private?" Elena exchanged a quick glance with Aisha before nodding. "Of course, High Counselor." Zara led Elena to a secluded balcony overlooking the glittering cityscape. For a moment, they stood in silence, the alien wind carrying strange, sweet scents. "Your people are quite fascinating, Commander," Zara said at last. "So full of potential, yet so unrefined." Elena bristled at the implied insult, but kept her tone neutral. "We may be younger than the Novanians, High Counselor, but we have much to offer. Our diversity is our strength." Zara turned to face her, those multifaceted eyes seeming to peer into Elena's soul. "Indeed, it is precisely that diversity that interests us. Tell me, Commander, how would you feel about a more intimate cultural exchange?" "I'm not sure I understand," Elena said carefully. Zara's skin rippled with colors. "We Novanians have long sought ways to enhance our own genetic potential. Your species, with its remarkable adaptability, could be the key we've been searching for." Elena's blood ran cold as the implications sank in. "Are you proposing some kind of breeding program?" "Nothing so crude," Zara said with a wave of its elongated hand. "We have far more sophisticated methods. But yes, in essence, we believe that combining the best traits of our species could yield extraordinary results." Elena took a step back, her mind reeling. This was so far beyond the scope of their mission, beyond anything they had prepared for. I would need to consult with my superiors on Earth before even considering such a proposal." Zara's expression hardened, all pretense of warmth vanishing. "I'm afraid that won't be possible, Commander. You see, we've already begun." With a sinking feeling, Elena realized that the sweet scent on the wind had grown stronger. Her vision began to blur at the edges. "What have you done?" she managed to ask, her tongue feeling thick in her mouth. "Don't worry, Commander." Zara's voice seemed to come from far away. "You and your crew will be well cared for. Your children will usher in a new era for both our species." As darkness closed in, Elena's last conscious thought was of the monumental mistake they had made in coming to this world. When Elena awoke, she found herself in a sterile white room, lying on a bed that seemed to mold itself to her body. Her uniform was gone, replaced by a thin, shimmering garment. Panic surged through her as the memories of her conversation with Zara came flooding back. She sat up, fighting a wave of dizziness, and surveyed her surroundings. The room was small but not uncomfortably so, with no visible doors or windows. A soft, ambient light seemed to emanate from the walls themselves. "Hello," Elena called out, her voice sounding oddly muffled. "Is anyone there?" A section of the wall shimmered and became transparent, revealing High Counselor Zara standing on the other side. "Ah, Commander, I'm pleased to see you're awake. How are you feeling?" Elena stood, her legs shaky but holding her weight. "What have you done? Where is my crew?" "Your people are safe," Zara said, its tone maddeningly calm. "They are being prepared, as you are, for the next phase of our collaboration." "Collaboration?" Elena spat the word. "This isn't collaboration. It's abduction, imprisonment." Zara's skin rippled with what might have been amusement. "Such passion. It's one of the traits we admire most about your species, Commander. But I assure you, what we're doing is for the greater good of both our peoples." Elena fought to keep her voice steady. "You can't just force us to participate in your genetic experiments. We're sentient beings, not lab rats." "Force?" Zara seemed genuinely puzzled. "My dear Commander, we would never resort to such crude methods. You will come to understand the importance of our work in time. For now, rest and recover. Soon you'll meet your Novanian partner." Before Elena could respond, the wall shimmered back to opacity, leaving her alone with her thoughts and fears. Over the next few days, or what Elena assumed were days, as time seemed to flow strangely in her windowless room, she was visited by a series of Novanian scientists. They conducted tests, asked endless questions about human biology and culture, and spoke in glowing terms about the potential of their project. Elena did her best to gather information, to find some weakness in their plans, but the Novanians were frustratingly vague about the details of their experiments. She learned that her crew was being held in similar conditions, each paired with a Novanian partner, for what they euphemistically called genetic harmonization. It was during one of these sessions that Elena met Talon, the Novanian who had been chosen as her partner. Unlike the aloof scientists, Talon seemed genuinely curious about Elena as a person, not just a test subject. "I must admit," Talon said, its voice softer and more melodious than the other Novanians Elena had encountered, "I was skeptical of this project at first, but getting to know you, Elena, it's opened my eyes to the wonders of your species." Elena studied Talon carefully. Was this genuine interest, or just another manipulation? "If you truly want to understand us," she said, "you should know that humans value freedom above all else. What you're doing here, holding us against our will, it goes against everything we believe in." Talon's skin shimmered with what Elena had come to recognize as distress. "But we're not. I mean, this is for the benefit of both our species. Surely you can see that." "Can I?" Elena challenged. "Have you asked yourself why this project needs to be conducted in secret? Why we weren't given a choice?" Talon fell silent, its multifaceted eyes darting away from Elena's steady gaze. When it spoke again, its voice was barely above a whisper. Perhaps there is much I don't understand about this situation." It was a small crack in the Novanian facade, but it gave Elena hope. If she could sow doubt in Talon's mind, maybe there was a chance to turn this situation around. As the days wore on, Elena found herself engaged in a delicate dance of diplomacy and resistance. She cooperated with the tests and interviews, all the while working to build a rapport with Talon and gather intel on the Novanians' true intentions. It was during one of their conversations that Elena finally got the opening she'd been waiting for. Talon, seeming troubled, confided in her. "Elena, I've been thinking about what you said, about freedom and choice. I've accessed some of your species' historical records, and I'm beginning to understand why this situation is so distressing for you." Elena leaned forward, sensing a pivotal moment. "Talon, if you truly understand, then you know this has to stop. Help me, help my crew. We can still turn this into a genuine collaboration, one based on mutual respect and consent." Talon's skin rippled with a kaleidoscope of colors, reflecting its inner turmoil. "But the High Council, they believe this is the only way to save our species. We've become stagnant, Elena. Our lack of genetic diversity is leading us towards extinction. Your people could be our salvation. And we might be willing to help," Elena said gently, "if we're given the choice. Humans have a long history of coming together in times of crisis, of helping those in need, but it has to be our decision." Talon was silent for a long moment, its large eyes studying Elena intently. Finally, it spoke. "What you're asking, it goes against everything I've been taught, everything I believed in, but I cannot deny the truth in your words. What would you have me do?" Elena's heart raced. This was her chance, perhaps her only chance, to change the course of this ill-fated mission. "Help me contact my ship," she said. "If I can speak to my superiors on Earth, explain the situation, we might be able to find a solution that benefits both our peoples." Talon's skin pulsed with nervous energy. It would be seen as treason. The penalties. "Sometimes," Elena said softly, reaching out to place a hand on Talon's arm, marveling at the strange, silky texture of its skin, "doing the right thing requires great courage. You have that courage, Talon. I've seen it in you." For a breathless moment, Elena thought she had pushed too far. Then, almost imperceptibly, Talon nodded. "Very well," it said, its voice barely above a whisper. "Tonight, when the Sun Sisters set, be ready." As Talon shimmered out of existence, leaving Elena alone in her room once more, she allowed herself a small smile. It wasn't freedom, not yet, but it was hope. And sometimes, hope was all you needed to change the universe. Unexpected Connections and Discoveries, 2,800 words. As the twin suns of Novani dipped below the horizon, casting the alien world in a surreal twilight, Elena paced her room with nervous energy. Her mind raced, considering all the possible outcomes of the night ahead. Would Talon follow through on their promise? And if they did, what consequences would they both face? A soft chime broke the silence, and a section of the wall shimmered into transparency. Talon stood on the other side, its iridescent skin muted in the low light. "Are you ready?" it asked, voice barely above a whisper. Elena nodded, her heart pounding. "Let's do this." The wall seemed to melt away, allowing Elena to step through. She found herself in a dimly lit corridor that pulsed with bioluminescent veins. Talon grasped her hand, its touch sending an unexpected tingle up Elena's arm. "We must hurry," Talon said. "I've created a diversion in the xenobiology lab, but it won't hold their attention for long." They moved swiftly through the twisting passages of the Novanian facility, Elena marveling at how the architecture seemed alive, responding to their presence. At last, they reached a room filled with what looked like organic computer terminals. "Here," Talon said, gesturing to one of the pulsating consoles. "This can establish a quantum entanglement link with your ship. But Elena, you must understand, once we do this, there's no going back." Elena met Talon's multifaceted gaze, seeing the fear and resolve mirrored there. "I understand, and I won't forget what you're risking for us." As Talon interfaced with the console, its fingers dancing over the living controls, Elena felt a surge of hope. Soon, she would speak to her crew, to Earth. They could put an end to this misguided experiment and forge a true alliance between their species. The console hummed to life, projecting a holographic display. Elena's heart leaped as she saw the familiar face of her first officer, Commander Jack Harper. "Elena, thank God, we've been trying to. Wait, where are you? What's going on?" Elena quickly explained the situation, watching Jack's expression shift from relief to shock to anger. "Those bastards," he growled. "We'll come get you out, blow this whole place to." "No," Elena cut him off. "Jack, listen, it's more complicated than that. The Novanians, they're dying. This wasn't just about scientific curiosity. They see us as their last hope for survival." Jack's brow furrowed. "So that justifies kidnapping and forced breeding experiments?" "Of course not," Elena said. "But we have an opportunity here. To turn this into something positive, something that could benefit both our species. I need you to contact Earth, explain the situation. Tell them we need a diplomatic team, geneticists, volunteers who are willing to help." As Jack reluctantly agreed, alarms began to blare throughout the facility. Talon's skin pulsed with panic. "They've discovered us. Elena, we must." The transmission cut off abruptly as the door to the communication room burst open. High Counselor Zara strode in, flanked by security drones, its eyes blazed with fury. "You disappoint me," Commander Reyes, Zara said, its melodious voice edged with steel. "And you, Talon, I expected better from one of our brightest minds." Elena stepped in front of Talon protectively. "This is on me, Counselor. Talon was just following my orders." Zara's skin rippled with what might have been amusement. "How touching. Your loyalty would be admirable if it weren't so misplaced." It gestured to the security drones. "Take them both to isolation. Perhaps some time alone will help them understand the gravity of their actions." As they were led away, Elena caught Talon's eye. In that silent exchange, a wealth of emotions passed between them: fear, regret, but also a spark of something deeper, something neither of them had anticipated. The isolation chamber was unlike anything Elena had experienced before. It seemed to exist in a state of quantum flux, with walls that shifted and blurred, making it impossible to gauge the size of the space or the passage of time. The silence was absolute, pressing in on her like a physical weight. Elena wasn't sure how long she'd been there, hours, days, maybe even weeks, when the chamber finally stabilized and a familiar figure shimmered into view. "Talon," Elena breathed, relief washing over her. "Are you all right? What's happening out there?" Talon's skin pulsed with a complex pattern of colors that Elena was beginning to recognize as a mix of anxiety and excitement. "Elena, everything has changed. Your message, it got through." Hope surged in Elena's chest. Olaf responded. "What do they say?" "Not just Earth," Talon said, its voice filled with wonder. "Word of our situation has spread across your planet. Humans from all walks of life are volunteering to help us. Scientists, doctors, ordinary citizens, all willing to participate in a collaborative genetic exchange program." Elena felt tears prick at her eyes. Despite everything, her faith in humanity's capacity for compassion had been vindicated. And the High Council, how have they reacted? Talon's skin shimmered with what Elena now recognized as embarrassment. They were resistant at first, but faced with the overwhelming response from your people and the growing dissent among our own population, they've agreed to negotiate. A thought struck Elena. "Wait, how long have I been in here?" "3 of your Earth weeks," Talon replied softly. "I'm sorry, Elena. I wanted to come sooner, but the Council insisted on keeping you isolated until terms could be agreed upon." Elena shook her head, pushing aside her frustration. There were more important matters at hand. "So what happens now?" Talon extended a hand, its iridescent skin glowing softly. "Now, Elena Rays of Earth, we begin anew. As equals, as partners in the truest sense of the word, will you help us shape this new future?" Elena took Talon's hand, marveling at how natural it felt now. "Together," she said firmly. The days that followed were a whirlwind of activity. Elena and her crew were released from confinement and given full access to the Novanian capital. Diplomatic teams from Earth arrived, along with an advance guard of scientific volunteers eager to begin the collaborative genetic program. As Elena walked through the sweeping crystal halls of the High Council chamber, she couldn't help but reflect on how drastically things had changed. Where once she had felt patronized and belittled, now she was greeted with genuine respect and curiosity by the Novanian dignitaries. Commander Reyes, High Counselor Zara approached, its manner markedly different from their previous encounters. "I owe you a profound apology. Our actions were misguided, born of desperation and arrogance. Can you ever forgive us?" Elena studied Zara for a moment, seeing the genuine remorse in its multifaceted eyes. "Forgiveness may take time, Counselor," she said carefully. "But I believe we've been given a second chance to do things right. Let's not waste it." Zara bowed its head in acknowledgement. "Your wisdom shames us, Commander. We have much to learn from your people." As the formal negotiations began, Elena found herself working closely with Talon, whose expertise in Novanian biology proved invaluable. Together, they helped craft a framework for the genetic exchange program that prioritized consent, safety, and mutual benefit. It was during one of their late-night strategy sessions that Elena realized something had fundamentally shifted between them. They were reviewing holographic models of compatible genetic sequences when she caught Talon staring at her, its skin shimmering with a pattern she hadn't seen before. "Talon, is everything all right?" Talon's multifaceted eyes seemed to sparkle in the low light. "Elena, I'm experiencing unfamiliar sensations when I'm with you. Our scientists believe it may be an unprecedented biochemical response to prolonged exposure to human pheromones, but I think it might be something more." Elena felt her heart race, recognizing the emotion behind Talon's words. Against all odds, in the midst of this interstellar crisis, something beautiful and unexpected had blossomed between them. "Talon," she said softly, reaching out to touch its shimmering skin. "I think I might be experiencing something similar." As their hands intertwined, a spark of bioluminescence danced between them, a visual manifestation of the connection they shared. In that moment, Elena understood that the future they were building wouldn't just be about genetic exchange or diplomatic alliances. It would be about bridging the vast gulfs between their species in ways no one could have anticipated. The news of the first successful human Novanian conception sent shockwaves through both worlds. Elena and Talon, as the public faces of the collaborative program, found themselves at the center of a media frenzy. Interviews, press conferences, and documentary crews became a daily reality. "How does it feel?" one particularly aggressive Earth reporter asked, "to be carrying the future of two species inside you?" Elena placed a protective hand over her swollen belly, feeling the gentle movements of the life growing within. "It feels humbling," she said after a moment's reflection, "and incredibly hopeful. This child represents not just a biological breakthrough, but a testament to what we can achieve when we set aside our fears and prejudices." Talon, ever at Elena's side, added its own perspective. "We Novanians have always prided ourselves on our advancement, our supposed superiority. But through this experience, we've learned that true evolution comes not from isolation, but from connection, from embracing diversity rather than fearing it." As Elena's pregnancy progressed, a team of human and Novanian medical experts monitored every stage of development. The fetus showed a remarkable blending of traits from both species. The adaptability and genetic diversity of humanity combined with the advanced sensory capabilities and bioluminescent properties of the Novanians. But it wasn't all smooth sailing. As Elena entered her third trimester, complications arose that baffled both human and Novanian doctors. Her body struggled to adapt to the unique needs of the hybrid child, and for a terrifying few weeks, it seemed that both mother and baby might be lost. It was during this crisis that the true strength of the human-Novanian partnership was revealed. Scientists and doctors from both worlds worked around the clock, sharing knowledge and pushing the boundaries of their respective medical technologies. Novanian bioengineers developed a synthetic amniotic fluid that could support both human and Novanian physiologies, while human geneticists found ways to stabilize the hybrid DNA sequences. Through it all, Talon never left Elena's side. Its unwavering support and the depth of emotion in its multifaceted eyes told Elena more than words ever could about the bonds they had forged. Finally, after weeks of touch-and-go moments, Elena's condition stabilized. The doctors announced with cautious optimism that both mother and child were out of danger. The collective sigh of relief from two worlds was almost palpable. As Elena recovered, she and Talon spent long hours discussing the future, not just of their child, but of the unprecedented society they were helping to build. "It won't be easy," Elena mused, gazing out at the alien sunset from her hospital room. "There will be challenges we can't even imagine yet. Cultural clashes, unforeseen biological complications." Talon's skin shimmered with determination. "But we'll face them together. Human and Novanian, not as separate species, but as a united people." Elena smiled, taking Talon's hand in hers. "You know, when I first came to this world, I never could have imagined this outcome. I thought I was prepared for anything, but nothing could have prepared me for you for this." As if in response to her words, Elena felt a strong kick from the life growing inside her. Talon's eyes widened in wonder as it felt the movement beneath its touch. "Our child," Talon whispered, all evident in its voice. "The first of a new generation, a bridge between worlds." Elena nodded, feeling a profound sense of purpose wash over her. Whatever challenges lay ahead, she knew that this miraculous blending of two species, this love that defied the boundaries of biology, was only the beginning of an extraordinary journey. As the twin suns of Novani dipped below the horizon, casting the world in the ethereal glow of twilight, Elena and Talon stood united, ready to face the future they had helped create. A future of unprecedented collaboration, of challenges overcome through shared strength, and of a love that spanned the stars themselves. The birth of Elena and Talon's child, whom they named Nova, marked a new chapter in human-Novanian relations. As the first hybrid of their species, Nova's every developmental milestone was celebrated across two worlds. Her iridescent skin, a seamless blend of human and Novanian tones, seemed to pulse with an inner light that captivated all who saw her. But it was Nova's eyes, human in shape, but with the multifaceted depth of her Novanian heritage, that truly embodied the bridge between their species. As Nova grew, it became clear that she possessed extraordinary abilities. By her first birthday, she was already communicating telepathically, a trait previously unknown in either humans or Novanians. Her accelerated cognitive development left xenobiologists from both species in awe. It's as if, Dr. Aisha Kapoor explained during a packed press conference, the combination of human neuroplasticity and Novanian sensory capabilities has unlocked potential we never knew existed. Nova isn't just a hybrid, she's an evolutionary leap forward for both our species. But with Nova's gifts came unexpected challenges. As more human Novanian children were born, it became clear that each hybrid child was unique, manifesting different combinations of traits that often defied prediction. Some struggled with physiological complications, their hybrid bodies striving to reconcile the different biological needs of their dual heritage. Elena found herself at the forefront of these challenges, not just as a diplomat and scientist, but as a mother navigating uncharted waters. She and Talon worked tirelessly with medical teams from both worlds, pioneering new treatments and adaptive technologies to support the growing hybrid population. It was during one of these marathon research sessions that alarm klaxons began blaring throughout the Novanian capital. Elena rushed to the central command center, Nova cradled in her arms, to find barely controlled chaos. "Report," she barked, slipping easily into her old command role. High Counselor Zara turned to her, its skin pulsing with distress. "We're detecting massive gravitational anomalies throughout the Novanian system. It's as if the fabric of space-time itself is unraveling around us." Elena felt a chill run down her spine. Could it be a natural phenomenon? Dr. Kapoor, who had been poring over streams of data, shook her head grimly. "Not likely. The patterns are too precise, too targeted. This has all the hallmarks of an artificial event." "You mean an attack?" Talon asked, its voice tight with worry. Before anyone could respond, the view screens lit up with a sight that made Elena's blood run cold. A massive ship, unlike anything they had ever seen, emerged from a swirling vortex in space. Its design was organic yet metallic, pulsing with an otherworldly energy that seemed to distort the very stars around it. A booming voice echoed through every communication channel, in perfect Novanian and Earth standard. "See Eldren of dust and light. Your medegaling in te cosmic order, hate as not joan unnoticed. We are te architects, guardians of UNIVERSL balance. Your hybrid abominations, 310 the very fabrici of royalty. Surrender them to US, or face extinction." The command center erupted into pandemonium. Amidst the chaos, Elena clutched Nova tighter, feeling the child's fear and confusion through their telepathic bond. She locked eyes with Talon, seeing her own determination reflected in its multifaceted gaze. "We need to evacuate," Elena said, her mind racing. "Get as many people off-world as we can, especially the hybrid children." High Counselor Zara nodded grimly. "Agreed. But where can we go that these architects won't follow?" A crazy idea began to form in Elena's mind. What about the quantum flux chambers? The ones you used to hold us when we first arrived. Could they be adapted to shield a larger population? Dr. Kapoor's eyes widened. Theoretically, yes. If we could scale up the technology, create a pocket dimension, it might just work. But Elena, the power requirements would be astronomical. "Leave that to us," Talon interjected, its skin shimmering with renewed purpose. "Novanian bioreactors, combined with Earth's fusion technology, we can make it work." As the evacuation began, Elena found herself once again at the heart of a crisis that would shape the destiny of two species. But this time she wasn't alone. Humans and Novanians worked side by side, their differences forgotten in the face of a common threat. The next few days were a blur of frantic activity. While Talon and Dr. Kapoor led the efforts to create a large-scale quantum refuge, Elena coordinated the evacuation efforts. Hybrid children and their families were given priority, along with key scientific and military personnel. Nova, despite her young age, proved instrumental in keeping the other hybrid children calm during the chaos. Her telepathic abilities allowed her to soothe fears and coordinate efforts in ways that amazed even her parents. As the deadline set by the architects drew near, Elena found a quiet moment with Talon and Nova. They stood on a balcony overlooking the Novanian capital, watching as the last transports lifted off towards the quantum refuge site. "Do you think we'll ever see this place again?" Elena asked softly, her voice thick with emotion. Talon's skin shimmered with a complex pattern of love and determination. "We will. This is not the end, Elena. It's a new beginning. Whatever these architects are, whatever cosmic laws they think we've broken, they don't understand the power of what we've created here." Nova, her tiny hand grasping one of Elena's fingers and one of Talon's, looked up at her parents with eyes that seemed to hold the wisdom of ages. "We are more than they know," she said, her childish voice carrying an otherworldly resonance. "Together, we are evolution itself." The moment was shattered by another booming message from the architect's ship. "Your time has expired. Prepare for stealing." Elena scooped up Nova, and with one last look at the world that had become their home, they raced towards the quantum refuge. As they ran, the sky above began to fracture, reality itself seeming to splinter under the architect's assault. They reached the massive quantum chamber, just as Dr. Kapoor initiated the activation sequence. Arcs of energy crackled around them as the pocket dimension began to form. "It's not stable," Dr. Kapoor shouted over the din. "We need more power." Without hesitation, Nova wriggled free from Elena's grasp. Before anyone could stop her, she placed her tiny hands on the control interface. Her skin began to glow with an intensity that rivaled the twin suns of Novani. "Nova, no!" Elena cried, reaching for her daughter, but it was too late. Energy surged through Nova's body, her hybrid physiology acting as a conduit between the quantum technology and the raw power of the cosmos itself. For a moment that seemed to stretch into eternity, Nova became a being of pure light, her consciousness expanding to touch every mind within reach. And then, with a sound like the birth of a universe, the quantum refuge snapped into existence. The last thing Elena saw before the dimensional shift completed was the architect's ship being torn apart by the backlash of energy, its imposing form crumbling like paper in a flame. When the light faded and Elena could see again, she found herself in a realm unlike anything she had ever experienced. It was as if they were everywhere and nowhere at once, the laws of physics bent and reshaped by Nova's unprecedented act. Talon helped Elena to her feet, its skin pulsing with a mixture of awe and concern. "Elena, look." Following Talon's gaze, Elena saw Nova floating serenely in the center of the chamber, her body still glowing faintly. But she wasn't alone. Surrounding her were ethereal forms of light, their features a blend of human and Novanian characteristics. What are they?" Elena whispered. As if in response, one of the beings spoke, its voice resonating directly in Elena's mind. "We are what you might become. Echoes from potential futures, drawn here by the power of your daughter's act. The architects were right to fear you, but not for the reasons they believed. Your union, the blending of human and Novanian, has set in motion a chain of evolution that will reshape the cosmos itself." Elena struggled to comprehend the magnitude of what she was hearing. But the architects, they said we were threatening the fabric of reality. Another being, its form slightly more Novanian in appearance, responded. "The architects see only stagnation as stability. They fear change, fear the potential of life to transcend its boundaries. But it is that very transcendence that allows the universe to grow, to become more than the sum of its parts." Talon, its scientific mind racing, asked, "Are you saying that our hybrid children are some kind of cosmic catalyst?" The beings seemed to confer among themselves before answering. In a sense, yes, but it is not just your children. It is the choice you made to come together despite your differences, to see beyond the surface and recognize the fundamental connectedness of all life. That choice, replicated countless times across countless worlds, is what drives the universe towards greater complexity and consciousness. Elena's head spun with the implications. She looked at Nova, still suspended in her cocoon of energy, and felt a surge of both pride and trepidation. What happens now? Can we ever go back? The first being that had spoken moved closer, its luminous form radiating warmth and reassurance. The pocket dimension your daughter has created is a safe haven, but it is also a crucible. Here, free from the constraints of normal space-time, your people can grow, learn, and evolve. When you are ready, truly ready, you will be able to re-enter the cosmos. And when you do, you will have the power to reshape reality itself, to spread the spark of transcendent evolution to worlds beyond counting. As the beings began to fade, their message imparted, Elena felt a renewed sense of purpose flood through her. She turned to Talon, seeing the same mix of determination and wonder in its multifaceted eyes. "Well," she said, a smile tugging at her lips despite the weight of their new responsibility, "I guess we have our work cut out for us." Talon's skin shimmered with agreement. "Indeed, we must prepare our people, all our people, for a future beyond anything we could have imagined." As if on cue, Nova slowly descended from her energetic cocoon, her eyes opening to reveal depths of knowledge and power that took Elena's breath away. When she spoke, her voice carried echoes of the beings they had just encountered. "The journey begins now, in this moment between moments. We are the bridge, the catalyst, the first step towards a universe united in diversity. Together, we will write the next chapter in the story of creation itself." Elena and Talon embraced their daughter, marveling at the miracle she represented. Around them, the quantum refuge hummed with potential, a blank canvas upon which the future of two species, and perhaps the entire cosmos, would be written. As news of what had transpired spread through the refugee population, a mix of fear, awe, and hope rippled through human and Novanian alike. They stood at the precipice of a new era, one that would challenge everything they thought they knew about themselves and their place in the universe. Elena, Talon, and Nova, the family at the heart of this cosmic revolution, knew that the road ahead would be fraught with challenges. But as they looked out over the assembled faces of their people, they also saw unlimited potential. In this sanctuary between worlds, they would forge a new destiny, one that would ultimately transform not just their own species, but the very nature of life in the cosmos. The story of humanity's first contact with the Novanians, once a tale of cultural misunderstanding and scientific ambition, had become something far grander. It was now the opening chapter in an epic of universal proportions, a testament to the power of love, unity, and the indomitable spirit of life itself to transcend every boundary. As Elena took Talon's hand, Nova secure between them, she felt a sense of anticipation unlike anything she'd ever experienced. The universe, in all its infinite complexity, awaited their next move. And they, the children of dust and light, were ready to answer its call. The quantum refuge, soon dubbed Nexus by its inhabitants, quickly became a crucible of innovation and adaptation. Freed from the constraints of normal space-time, human and Novanian scientists worked tirelessly to unlock the secrets of their new reality. Each day brought new discoveries and challenges that pushed the boundaries of both species' understanding. Elena, now serving as the de facto leader of this interdimensional community, found herself at the center of a maelstrom of activity. She stood in the newly constructed Nexus Control Hub, surrounded by a dizzying array of holographic displays and pulsating biotech interfaces. "Status report," she called out, her voice carrying the weight of command, honed by years of unprecedented crisis management. Dr. Aisha Kapoor, her hair now streaked with premature gray, looked up from a console of swirling data. "The good news is we've stabilized the quantum field. Nexus isn't in danger of collapsing. The bad news: we're detecting some anomalies in the fabric of our pocket dimension. Talon, who had been conferring with a group of Novanian bioengineers, glided over. Its skin rippled with concerned hues. What kind of anomalies? Isha pulled up a 3D model of Nexus, showing swirling vortexes of energy at various points throughout the construct. These energy spikes are growing in frequency and intensity. If we can't find a way to regulate them, they could tear holes in the dimensional barriers. Elena felt a chill run down her spine. And if that happens, best case scenario, we get pulled back into normal space-time, probably scattered across the universe, as she said grimly. Worst case, the laws of physics as we know them break down entirely. We could cease to exist. The gravity of the situation settled over the room like a heavy blanket. Elena took a deep breath, centering herself. All right, we need solutions, people. Any ideas? As if in response to her question, alarms began blaring throughout the control hub. Warning lights flashed, bathing the room in an eerie red glow. We've got a breach. One of the technicians shouted, something's coming through. All eyes turned to the central holo display as a swirling vortex of energy materialized in the heart of Nexus. From its depths emerged a figure that made Elena's breath catch in her throat. It was Nova. But not the Nova they knew. This was Nova as she might be years in the future. Tall and regal, her hybrid features had matured into a breathtaking blend of human and Novanian traits. Her skin shimmered with barely contained power, and her eyes held depths of knowledge that seemed to span millennia. "Mom, Dad," future Nova said, her voice resonating with otherworldly harmonics. "We don't have much time." Elena and Talon rushed forward, 1,000 questions on their lips. But future Nova held up a hand, silencing them. "Listen carefully. The anomalies you're detecting, they're not a flaw in Nexus. They're gateways, possibilities trying to manifest. The pocket dimension you've created is becoming a nexus point for all potential realities." Dr. Kapoor's eyes widened in realization. Of course, the quantum nature of this space, combined with the hybrid energy signatures, we're not just bending space-time, we're fracturing it. Future Nova nodded grimly. Exactly. And if we don't learn to control it, to navigate the multiverse we're inadvertently creating, we risk collapsing all of reality. Helena's mind reeled with the implications. But how? We barely understand the physics of this place as it is. Future Nova's expression softened, a smile tugging at her lips. "That's where I come in. In my timeline, we figured it out, but not soon enough. I've come back to make sure we get it right this time." What followed was a crash course in multiversal mechanics that pushed the boundaries of comprehension for even the most brilliant minds in Nexus. Future Nova, drawing on knowledge gleaned from countless alternate realities, guided them through the intricacies of dimensional harmonics and quantum entanglement on a cosmic scale. As the hours stretched on, Elena found herself marveling at the woman her daughter would become, or might become, in this new, fluid reality they were navigating. There was so much of Talon's analytical mind in her, tempered by Elena's own intuitive leadership. But there was something more, something transcendent that spoke to the true potential of their hybrid legacy. The key, Future Nova explained, manipulating a complex holographic model of intertwining realities, is to understand that every choice, every possibility, creates its own branch in the multiverse. Nexus isn't just a refuge, it's a control center for all these branches. Talon, its skin pulsing with excitement at the scientific implications, asked, "But how do we prevent these branches from tearing Nexus apart?" Future Nova's expression turned serious. "We don't prevent them. We embrace them. Nexus must become a multiversal hub, a place where all these realities can coexist and interact safely." The enormity of the task ahead began to sink in. They weren't just building a new home for their displaced people. They were constructing a framework for a new kind of existence, one that spanned the very boundaries of reality itself. As the team worked feverishly to implement Future Nova's insights, integrating human ingenuity with Novanian biotech in ways never before imagined, Elena pulled her future daughter aside for a private moment. "Nova," she said softly, still marveling at the woman before her, "I have to ask, in your timeline, what happens to us, to all of this?" Future Nova's eyes clouded with a mix of emotions: pride, sorrow, hope. "Mom, you have to understand. The multiverse, it's vast beyond comprehension. In some realities, we thrive. In others," she trailed off, the weight of infinite possibilities heavy in her voice. Elena nodded, understanding the unspoken implications. "And this reality, what are our chances?" Future Nova took her mother's hands, her touch sending a tingle of energy through Elena's body. "That's up to you, to all of you. I've given you the knowledge, but how you use it, how you shape the future, that's the true test." Before Elena could respond, alarms blared once again. But this time, it wasn't the warning of dimensional instability. This was something else entirely. "Incoming transmission," Dr. Kapoor shouted, her fingers flying over the controls. It's from outside Nexus." The central holo display flickered to life, revealing a sight that made Elena's blood run cold. It was an architect's ship, somehow intact, its imposing form distorted by the quantum barrier separating Nexus from normal space-time. The same booming voice that had heralded their arrival at Novani filled the control hub. "CHILDORIAN of dust and light, your DFIANCE of course amikilol cannot be tolerated. Surrender now, or WATCH, as we ulan RAVL the very fabrice of your refugee." Elena felt a surge of defiance rise within her. They had come too far, sacrificed too much, to back down now. She stepped forward, her voice steady as she addressed their would-be destroyers. "We will not surrender," she declared, feeling the united will of humans and Novanians behind her. "We are not your enemies. We are the next step in cosmic evolution, and we invite you to join us in shaping a new future for all sentient life." There was a moment of tense silence. Then, to everyone's shock, a new voice responded, softer, almost uncertain. You speak of evolution, of a new future. Explain." Elena exchanged glances with Talon and Future Nova, seeing her own surprise mirrored in their expressions. This was unexpected, but it was an opening they couldn't afford to waste. Over the next few hours, Elena, Talon, and Future Nova took turns explaining their journey, from first contact to the creation of Nexus, from the hybrid children to the discovery of multiversal mechanics. They spoke of the power of diversity, of the strength found in unity, and of the limitless potential when different species come together in harmony. As they taught, something remarkable began to happen. The architect's ship started to change, its rigid form becoming more fluid, more organic. It was as if the very idea of evolution, of transcendent change, was reshaping their reality. Finally, after what seemed like an eternity, the architect voice spoke again. We have been blind. For eons we sought to preserve the cosmic order, never realizing that change itself is the truest constant. Your hybrid children, your Nexus, they are not abominations. They are the fulfillment of the universe's deepest purpose." A collective sigh of relief rippled through the control hub, but Elena knew their challenges were far from over. "Will you join us?" she asked, extending a metaphorical hand across the quantum divide. "Help us navigate this new reality, this multiverse we're only beginning to understand." There was a pause, pregnant with possibility. Then, slowly, the architect's ship began to phase through the quantum barrier, its form shimmering and changing as it adapted to the laws of Nexus. As the former enemies materialized fully within their pocket dimension, Elena was struck by how different they appeared. Gone was the cold, metallic perfection. In its place was a being of pure energy, constantly shifting and flowing, as if physical form itself was now a choice rather than a constraint. "We are no longer architects," the being said, its voice now a harmonious chorus rather than an overwhelming boom. We are catalysts, and we stand ready to help forge a new cosmic order, one built on growth and unity rather than stagnation and division. The implications of this moment were staggering. Not only had they averted destruction, but they had also gained allies with knowledge spanning the breadth of the universe. The possibilities seemed endless. As the newly christened catalysts began to share their cosmic wisdom, integrating seamlessly with the human and Novanian teams, Elena found herself overcome with emotion. She looked around the control hub, at Talon, its skin shimmering with joy and excitement, at Future Nova, a proud smile on her face, at the united faces of humans and Novanians working side by side, and now at these transcendent beings joining their cause. This, she realized, was more than just survival. It was the dawn of a new era, not just for their species, but for all of existence. Nexus wasn't just a refuge, it was the birthplace of a cosmic renaissance. As if reading her thoughts, Future Nova placed a hand on Elena's shoulder. "This is only the beginning, Mom," she said softly. "The real adventure is just starting." Elena nodded, feeling a renewed sense of purpose flood through her. Whatever challenges lay ahead in navigating this new multiversal existence, she knew that together, human, Novanian, hybrid, and now catalyst, they were ready to face them. The story of two species, once separated by the vast gulfs of space, had become a saga of universal proportions. And as Nexus pulsed with the energy of infinite possibilities, Elena couldn't help but feel that the greatest chapters were yet to be written. The integration of the catalysts into the fabric of Nexus society marked the beginning of an unprecedented era of growth and discovery. As the former architects shared their vast cosmic knowledge, the boundaries between science and what might once have been called magic began to blur. In the heart of Nexus, a new structure arose, the harmonic spire. It towered above the quantum landscape, its crystalline form constantly shifting and refracting light in impossible ways. This was more than just a building. It was a multiversal beacon, a nexus point for knowledge and energy flowing from countless realities. Elena stood at the base of the spire, marveling at its beauty and the promise it represented. Beside her, Talon's skin shimmered with patterns of awe and excitement. Their daughter Nova, both the child they were raising and the future version who had guided them through crisis, floated serenely above the ground, her form wavering between physical and energy states. "It's ready," Nova said, her voice resonating with multiversal harmonics. "Today, we take our first true steps into the cosmic web." As if on cue, a group of humans, Novanians and catalysts emerged from the spire's entrance. They were the first graduates of what had come to be known as the cosmic harmonizers, beings trained to navigate and manipulate the very fabric of reality itself. Dr. Aisha Kapoor, now sporting biotechnological enhancements that allowed her to process multiversal data streams, approached Elena with a beaming smile. "Commander, or should I say Ambassador Reyes, the first expedition teams are ready for your inspection." Elena nodded, feeling a mixture of pride and trepidation. These brave souls would be venturing into uncharted territories of the multiverse, seeking out new forms of life and consciousness, and spreading the message of unity that Nexus now embodied. As Elena reviewed the teams, she was struck by how far they'd come. Humans stood side by side with Novanians, their bodies enhanced with hybrid biotechnology that allowed them to adapt to virtually any environment. Catalysts flowed around them, their energy forms serving as living shields and power sources, and at the heart of each team were the hybrid children, now coming into their own as the true bridge between species and realities. "Remember," Elena addressed the assembled explorers, her voice carrying the weight of hard-won wisdom, "our mission is one of peace and understanding. We've learned the hard way that fear of the unknown leads only to conflict. Go forth with open minds and open hearts. The multiverse awaits." As the expedition teams prepared to depart, each stepping into shimmering portals that would take them to different branches of reality, Elena felt a tug on her consciousness. It was Nova, calling her and Talon to a private chamber within the harmonic spire. The room they entered defied conventional physics. It seemed to exist in multiple states simultaneously, its walls showing glimpses of countless realities flowing and merging like oil on water. "Mom, Dad," Nova said, her form solidifying into her adult self, "there's something you need to see." With a wave of her hand, Nova brought forth a swirling vortex of energy. Within its depths, Elena and Talon saw flashes of possible futures, some wondrous, some terrifying. "The multiverse is vast beyond imagination," Nova explained, her voice tinged with both excitement and concern. "But it's not without its dangers. As we expand, as we touch more realities, we risk awakening forces beyond even the architect's understanding." The vortex shifted, showing a dark, roiling mass that seemed to devour light and matter alike. "This is what I've come to call the void," Nova continued. "It exists between realities, feeding on the energy of collapsed timelines and forgotten possibilities. And it's growing." Elena felt a chill run down her spine. "Is it sentient?" Nova's expression was grim. "In a sense, it's a collective consciousness born from all the paths not taken, all the civilizations that failed to transcend, and it hungers us for the energy of living realities." Talon, its analytical mind racing, asked, "Can it be reasoned with, contained?" "Not in any conventional sense," Nova replied. "But that's why I've brought you here. The void isn't just a threat, it's an opportunity. If we can learn to harness its energy, to integrate the lost possibilities it contains, we could unlock levels of creation beyond anything we've imagined." Elena's mind reeled at the implications. "You're talking about, what?" "Rebirth on a cosmic scale." Nova nodded, a spark of excitement in her eyes. "Exactly. But it's not something I can do alone. It will take all of us, human ingenuity, Novanian harmony, catalyst knowledge, and the boundless potential of our hybrid future. We need to evolve beyond even what we've become." As if to emphasize her point, Nova's form began to shift. Her hybrid features melted away, replaced by a being of pure energy and possibility. In that moment, Elena and Talon saw not just their daughter, but a glimpse of what humanity and Novanian kind might one day become. "This is the true test," Nova said, her voice now a chorus of infinite potential. "Not just survival, not just understanding, but creation itself. We have the power to reshape reality, to give new life to lost possibilities. But it comes with great responsibility." Elena and Talon exchanged glances, a lifetime of shared experiences and unspoken understanding passing between them. They had come so far from that first, tense encounter on Novani. Every challenge, every setback had led them to this moment. "We're ready," Elena said, her voice filled with determination. "Whatever it takes, we'll face it together." Talon's skin rippled with agreement, its colors a symphony of love and resolve. "As we always have." Nova's energy form seemed to smile, radiating warmth and pride. "Then let's begin. The next chapter of our cosmic journey starts now." Over the next cycles, for time had long since ceased to hold meaning in the conventional sense within Nexus, Elena and Talon worked tirelessly alongside Nova, the catalysts, and the brightest minds from across the multiverse. They delved into the nature of reality itself, pushing the boundaries of what was thought possible. The harmonic spire became a crucible of creation. Within its ever-shifting halls, new forms of matter and energy were born. Hybrid technologies, blending the best of all known civilizations, allowed for feats that would once have been deemed impossible. But it wasn't all smooth sailing. As they probed deeper into the mysteries of the multiverse, they encountered echoes of fallen civilizations, realities where fear and hatred had won out over unity and understanding. These served as stark reminders of what was at stake. One particular expedition returned with haunting news. They had discovered a reality where Earth and Novani had gone to war, their conflicts spreading across the galaxy like a cancer. The devastation was total, two species with the potential for greatness reduced to radioactive ash and bitter memories. Elena stood before the Nexus Council, her face etched with the weight of this knowledge. "We cannot ignore this," she said, her voice carrying across the multidimensional chamber. "Every choice we make, every reality we touch, has consequences beyond our imagination." A catalyst representative, its energy form pulsing with concern, spoke up. "Perhaps we should withdraw, limit our exploration to protect the sanctity of other timelines." But Talon, ever the voice of scientific curiosity tempered with wisdom, countered. "Withdrawal is not the answer. We have a responsibility to share what we've learned, to offer hope to realities that might otherwise fall into darkness." Nova, in her energy form, floated to the center of the chamber. "You're both right," she said, her voice resonating with the harmonies of countless possibilities. "We must be cautious, but we cannot stand idly by. The void grows stronger with every failed reality, every civilization that chooses conflict over cooperation." She waved her hand, and the chamber filled with swirling visions of different timelines, some thriving, some on the brink of collapse. "This is our true calling," Nova continued, "not just to explore, but to nurture, to plant the seeds of transcendence across the multiverse." Elena felt a surge of pride and purpose. This was so far beyond what she had imagined when she first set foot on Novani, yet it felt like the natural culmination of everything they had worked for. "We'll need to create a new type of expedition," she said, her mind already racing with possibilities. "Not just explorers, but ambassadors of unity. Beings capable of bridging not just species, but entire realities." And so the cosmic harmonizers evolved once more. Drawing on the combined knowledge and abilities of humans, Novanians, catalysts, and the ever-growing hybrid population, they created a new breed of multiversal diplomats. These beings, who came to be known as the Resonance, were marvels of multidimensional engineering. They could adapt their very essence to match the fundamental frequencies of different realities, allowing them to interact with civilizations across the cosmic spectrum. As the Resonance ventured forth into the multiverse, Nexus itself continued to grow and evolve. The pocket dimension expanded, becoming a shining beacon of hope and unity in the cosmic sea. More and more species from across realities sought them out, drawn by the promise of transcendence and the chance to be part of something greater than themselves. But with growth came new challenges. The void, ever present and ever hungry, pressed in on them from all sides. It was Nova who proposed the most daring solution yet. "We need to stop thinking of the void as an enemy," she explained to the Nexus Council. "It's a fundamental part of the cosmic ecosystem. Instead of fighting it, we need to embrace it, to become one with it." Her words were met with shock and skepticism. Merged with the very force that threatened to unmake reality, it seemed like madness. Yet, as Nova laid out her plan, the brilliance of it became clear. By integrating the void's energy, by giving new form to the lost possibilities it contained, they could create a perpetual cycle of renewal and rebirth. The project that followed was the most ambitious undertaking in the history of Nexus. Every mind, every resource was bent toward this singular goal. The harmonic spire was reconfigured, its multidimensional lattice expanded to encompass the very edges of known reality. Elena and Talon found themselves at the heart of the operation, their unique bonds serving as a template for the kind of unity they hoped to achieve on a cosmic scale. Their love, which had first bridged the gap between human and Novanian, now became a resonant frequency that helped harmonize the chaotic energies of the void. As the day of reckoning approached, tension mounted throughout Nexus. Success would mean a new era of unlimited potential. Failure could mean the end of everything they had built, perhaps even the collapse of the multiverse itself. Nova, her energy form now a swirling vortex of possibility, addressed the assembled population of Nexus one last time. "Today, we take our final step into the unknown. We've come so far, grown beyond what any of us thought possible, but our greatest challenge and our greatest opportunity lies ahead." She turned to Elena and Talon, her parents, the ones whose love had set this entire cosmic journey in motion. "Are you ready?" Elena took Talon's hand, feeling the familiar tingle of their connected energies. Together, she said, her voice steady and sure. Talon's skin shimmered with a rainbow of emotions: love, determination, hope. Always, it replied. As one, the population of Nexus, human, Navanian, catalyst, hybrid, and countless other species from across the multiverse, joined their energies. The harmonic spire pulsed with power, its crystalline structure singing with the music of creation itself. Nova, channeling the combined will of trillions of beings, reached out into the void. For a moment that seemed to stretch into eternity, nothing happened. The universe held its breath. And then, with a sound that defied description, a wave of energy unlike anything they had ever encountered washed over them. The boundaries between Nexus and the void, between being and non-being, blurred and shifted. Elena felt herself coming apart, her consciousness expanding to encompass realities beyond count. She was everywhere and everyone, experiencing the birth and death of universes in the span of a thought. Besides her, through her, Talon's essence intertwined with hers, their bond the eye of this cosmic storm. When awareness returned, Elena found herself changed. They had all changed. Nexus was no longer a pocket dimension set apart from the multiverse. It had become the multiverse, a living, breathing cosmic entity with the power to shape reality itself. As the dust settled and the new cosmic order began to take shape, Elena looked out over the sea of possibility that now lay before them. Talon stood beside her, its form now a shimmering tapestry of multiversal energy. Nova, their miraculous daughter who had guided them to this moment, smiled at them with eyes that held the wisdom of countless realities. "We did it," Elena breathed, her voice carrying the harmonies of a trillion stars. Talon's response came not in words, but in a wave of emotion and understanding that resonated across the cosmic web they had become. Nova, her form now a living embodiment of infinite potential, spoke for all of them. "This isn't the end," she said, her voice the music of creation itself. "It's only the beginning. We have eternity to explore, to grow, to love." As the newly reborn cosmic entity that was Nexus turned its attention to the infinite possibilities that lay before it, Elena felt a sense of peace and purpose unlike anything she had ever known. From that first tense encounter on Novani to this moment of universal transcendence, every step of their journey had led them here. The story of humanity's first contact with an alien species had become the story of the multiverse itself, a tale of love, unity, and the boundless potential of life to evolve and overcome. And as they set forth into this new cosmic dawn, Elena knew that the greatest adventures still lay ahead. For in the vast tapestry of existence, they had discovered the most profound truth of all, but the power to shape reality itself lay not in technology or biology, but in the simple yet revolutionary act of coming together, of choosing love and understanding over fear and division. And in that truth lay the seeds of infinite worlds, waiting to be born,